Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to a moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. Welcome back to our 100th episode, 2 years on the air and going strong. Today in our Millennial Mom segment, brought to you by Navé Travel, we're chatting with the amazing Carmelia Ray, celebrity matchmaker and life coach. Today we're chatting about the recent headliner in the New York Times, "I love you, but I don't want to sleep with you." Now, according to this article, snoring and conflicting schedules are top reasons couples decide to sleep in separate bedrooms. But sex therapists and marriage counselors have their doubts about the arrangement. According to recent studies, sleeping apart is more common than one might think. 1 in 5 couples sleep in separate bedrooms, and almost 2/3 of those who do so every night, according to a January survey of 2,200 Americans conducted by the International Housewares Association, and this was for the New York Times. Now, interior designers are literally reconfiguring homes to transform separate bedrooms into adjoining ones, an arrangement that more couples are demanding. In fact, there has been an uptick in requests from couples that sleep apart and want to make a secondary room feel as thoughtfully decorated as their primary one. Here to give us her opinion on all of this is the amazing Carmelia Ray. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. So happy to be having this discussion.
Yeah, okay, so you're the expert. What do you say to this?
I say whatever works for the couples. I think that sleep is such an important part of our daily lives. It affects our mood, it affects our work, it affects our health. So when you have a bad sleep, it's prone that you're going to probably have a bad relationship because you're cranky. And there's no judgment on my part. I think people have to let go of what other people think about where people should sleep. It has to be something that works for the couple and for that family.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, listen, maybe these couples have found the secret to domestic bliss, you know? I mean, having a room of your own, that's next level, and everyone does get a better night's sleep. You know, if you really think of the issues in the bedroom at night, I've been married for 16 years and we sleep separately most of the times. 3 to 4 nights he'll come in the middle of the night, but forget it. I'm mommy shamed. I also co-sleep. I have a 7-year-old daughter sleeping in my bed with us, and it works, you know? But if partners are sensitive sleepers, incessant snoring or blanket stealers or obsession to late night social media scrolling, I mean, these are reasons to go get your own bedroom.
Absolutely. You hear about people fighting over the covers and even the temperature control. I know that, I like it really warm and my partner likes it really cold. So, how do you compromise? A happy medium is having that separate bedroom. And by the way, it makes like date night even more fun. I read in one of the articles that they use weekends as sleepover time. The other part of that is that there's some people that work crazy schedules. So, the 24-hour shift, entrepreneurial life, people who travel, you don't want to be waking up your partner by crawling into bed at 3 in the morning or vice versa. So I think it's really a great idea for people to choose to sleep in separate bedrooms.
Yeah, I agree. I couldn't agree more. And it's not a millennial or, a Gen Z or a Gen Alpha or baby boomer thing. This is reality. But according to this New York Times article, Carmelia, sex therapists and marriage counselors have their doubts, worrying about the motivation behind the decision to sleep separately. They're asking, is it really because the partner tosses and turns too much? Or is that an excuse to avoid talking about bigger problems at home or a non-confrontational way to escape? What do you say to this?
I think that for this particular article, the discussion is about couples choosing to sleep separately because it will actually strengthen their relationship. It is not about somebody choosing another bedroom because they're having difficulty or challenges. If somebody's going to use the excuse of sleeping in a separate bedroom because they're having issues, I think that's a completely separate discussion. It's something that you want to talk about. And also, it's something that people do for years. If all of a sudden you talk about, your partner starts to move in another bedroom, I think you would want to raise questions about that. Is there a reason that that's happening? It's sort of uncharacteristic behavior. But for people who understand, hey, honey, I think to strengthen our relationship, we really need to consider sleeping in separate rooms, and that the conversation is around bonding and doing things that will support each other's, healthy lifestyle versus, trying to sneak off into another bed.
I know, I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Exactly. I echo your sentiments. Now, this statement in the article irked me the most. Okay. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. So they said, few metaphors better convey a relationship on the rocks than a couple sleeping apart. The ultimate ode to marital discord opens with a philandering spouse cast on a couch, the defining symbol of an unhappy family. While the aristocracy has long kept separate boudoirs, the article goes on to say, often portrayed alone in their grand private bedchambers on shows like The Crown and Downton Abbey, they are also a class that tends to marry for money or title, not love. Couples who marry for love doubled up. Now, even Lucy and Ricky Ricardo shared a room on I Love Lucy despite their famous twin beds. Take away the guaranteed together time, not to mention the easy opportunity for sex found at the end of each day curled up in bed together, and lovers could morph into glorified roommates. What do you say to this narrative?
I think that that's a very opinionated statement, and that this person is not considering all of the facts. It's a strong opinion based on traditional, marriage and traditional expectation that couples sleep together. What's traditional these days? You have to do what works for you as a couple. There's some people that live in separate houses. Let's have that discussion. At least they're in the same house in separate bedrooms, and sexy time is a little bit more fun. I think you miss that person, but you also can honor your space. When couples choose to sleep apart, it literally has to do with the quality of sleep. It is not, and maybe some space. And think about it. Some couples chose to do this in the pandemic. Gosh, we're living together, we're sleeping together, we're eating together, we're stuck in a small box or a small house. Let's at least have separate rooms so we have some element of privacy. I think for couples that choose to sleep apart, don't be shamed by it. It's okay. You don't have to explain anything. If it works for you in your marriage, then that's all that really matters.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this article got a lot of mixed reviews, which is why I wanted your opinion, because look, you're preaching to the choir. My husband and I have been happily married for, 15, 16 years. We share one biological child together. I've raised his other two children. We're a happy family. Most of the nights he's on the couch, and we have a really big king bed. My daughter comes in and sleeps. We find time for each other. Now, Dr. Cheryl Frazier is a clinical psychologist, sex therapist, and the author of Buddha's Bedroom. And in her surveys of 3,000 couples in long-term relationships, Dr. Frazier has found that roughly 33 to 40% report that they are in a sexless relationship, clinically defined as having sex together no more than 6 times a year. Now, she says, take away the snuggle time that happens in a shared bed, and the sex might soon go too. And when you sleep in the same bed, sex naturally happens, she said. She goes on to say that we marry for love, and therefore we want to be in the same bed and have sex with each other. Now, I disagree. I put sex on the calendar, like literally, I put it on the calendar. What do you say to this?
I say sex can happen in the bathroom, in the kitchen, in the living room, on the dining room table. I don't think a bed has anything to do with it. Sex can happen in your backyard. Like you're talking to the wrong person. It's intentional. And if couples choose to have sex 6 times a year and that satisfies their physical need, that works for them. I think there's too many people, interfering with how things should go. Like there isn't a one size fits all to any marriage. And the fact that being together in bed is where sex happens, nah, that's maybe for 80-year-olds. It can happen anywhere, anytime.
I'm glad.
I don't know how old she is, but she clearly isn't having enough sex.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad you said this, not me, and that's why I called you to comment on this, because I was reading this and I was like, wait, who wrote this? Now, in fact, you're right. According to International Housewares Association, we talked about this in the intro. It's a trade organization. 31% of surveyed couples who said they sleep apart reported that the arrangement had no impact on their relationship, and 21% said that their relationship improved because of it. So you are 100% right. And I agree. Sometimes people just need a little bit of space, no matter how big your apartment is. It's never big enough. I mean, to your point, the pandemic has changed how couples interact, particularly as we all settled into, years of hybrid work arrangements, spending far more time together than I ever cared for in the past. I mean, it's all about what works for each other. Now I have this great big house. He has his office. I have my office. We have a lot of square footage that separates us throughout the day, and we're not in each other's face, and it works.
Zen, all I'm thinking about are all the different places a couple can have sex: the garage, the cars, the motorcycle, Like, come on now. the
You're still
kids,
stuck.
the kids' bedroom when they're not there. I mean,
Oh, that's a dirty one, Carmelia. The kids' bedroom when
oh,
they're not there. Oh boy,
well, I don't know.
I love you. I
Yeah,
love you for your
I'm
honesty.
telling the truth. I'm telling the truth.
So, well, we have about 2 minutes left. So, talk to me in general. What advice do you have? I mean, we're going into this, into a new digital space and time. People are looking at avatars. People are interacting with artificial intelligence. I mean, Microsoft's chat box is having emotional conversations with people. What's happening?
We're overstimulated. We're looking for things new. I think that the best way to connect with your partner is to really connect with your partner. And if it means that sleeping in separate bedrooms allows you to appreciate the time that you do have intimacy, where you put the phone away, where you don't use chat GPT to figure out what to say to your wife or your husband, connect with them. Right? Connect with your partner. Do what works for you. And don't worry about the judgment. I think this is bringing a lot of attention because there's those that are righteous and they know better. You don't know a person's unique situation. And the only people that knows what's right for their marriage are the two people involved, provided that it really does work for both people and that they're open, honest, and transparent. Do people sleep in separate beds because things don't work out or they're hiding things? Of course, but that's not the conversation that we're having here, right? More and more people are choosing to do what works for them.
I agree. Well, listen, it was such an enlightening conversation. Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
bringing so much spice to our 100th episode. You are amazing. We love having you on, even on a last minute notice like tonight.
Thank you. Well, we'll think of 100 ways to have sex in the next episode.
I can't stop thinking about this. Well, that was Carmelia Ray, guys. You definitely have to check her out on carmeliaray.com. Head directly to Instagram as well. She trends extremely well at Carmelia Ray. She's also on Clubhouse. Fantastic stuff. Celebrity matchmaker, life coach, all of the above. According to her, don't listen to what that article said. You can have sex everywhere but the bedroom. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.